the rematch just 4 days after Widnes beat Leeds in the semi-final of the Silk Cut Challenge Cup. And not too many changes tonight to either teams, so we should see a fair old battle. Leeds no doubt will be out for revenge. Widnes will be out to prove it was no fluke. And the teams this evening, the Widnes team: number 1, Stuart Spruce; 2, John Devereux; 3, Darren Wright; 4, Andy Currier; 5, David Myers; 6, Jonathan Davis; 7, Bobby Golding. That's the same back line as Saturday. Changes in the pack: Harvey Howard moves to number 8 from number 10. Steve McCurry is off the bench in at the hooker, and Paul Hume moves up to prop forward at number 10. Rich Ayres is still at 11. Holiday at number 12. David Hume 13. Carl Hammond 14. And Chris Ashurst 15. And I hand you over to Stuart Duffy, the Leeds commentator, to announce the Leeds team.
Thank you, Gary. Well, Leeds team tonight shows a few changes from Saturday. And first one is that Steve Pilgrim, the Rugby Union England B and Wasp Rugby Union player who's been banned for having a trial with Leeds, comes in for Alan Tate, who's moved to centre. Jim Fallon is at number 2, Alan Tate, as I said, at number 3. Number 4 is Craig Innes. Simon Irving is on the wing at number 5. That means there's no place for Vince Fawcett. Ellery Hanley drops back to number 6 for Gary Schofield, who has an ear infection and had an operation yesterday. Andy Gregory is at 7. Steve Malloy, Colin Maskill and Lee Harland are the front 3. That's a full debut for young Lee Harland after a brief substitute appearance against Sheffield Eagles. Paul Dixon and Gary Mercer the second row. James Lowes drops back to loose forward to cover for Hanley. Graham Allroyd and Paul Anderson are subs today, as they were on Saturday. And the referee is Mr. Russell Smith of Castleford.
So Leeds take the field first and Widnes come out. So a tremendous round of applause. Not a bad side crowd here tonight, by no means full to capacity, but not too bad for the Wednesday night. Conditions are a lot different to they were on Saturday afternoon, which was a warm, sunny, almost a summer afternoon. Tonight it's a bit chilly and quite windy, the wind blowing across the pitch towards us, slightly perhaps down towards our left-hand corner. And the Widnes ball boy, a proud night for him this evening. The Widnes mascot's a proud night for him this evening. Mr. Smith calls Paul Hume and Ellery Hanley to him, the 2 captains. Hanley has moved up to the standoff position, and before we start, perhaps Stuart, you could just tell us the situation with Gary Schofield, injured on Saturday.
Well, it wasn't actually Gary. He's been suffering from an ear infection for a while, which has apparently got worse, and the doctors wanted him to go in last week to have the operation. He just held back until after the semi-final. It's just a punctured eardrum, and he's been deaf in one ear for some time. He will be out this week, obviously, and he's out for the Wakefield game on Sunday, but hopefully he will be fit for the week after.
Well, best wishes to Gary from all the Widnes side, I'm sure. Off the field, the players are mates. On the field, it's deadly enemies. So it's Leeds to kick off, so we'll hand over to Stuart for the start of the game.
Thank you, Gary. Well, as Gary said, a blustery evening here at Widnes. They've been blowing across the pitch from the far side towards us. And a big night for Leeds, I think. After Saturday's, well, no other word to describe it, with a debacle where none of the Leeds team fired really on any sort of cylinders. I think that Leeds will be looking to put one over on Widnes this evening. They're not without hope. They've won here a few times in recent seasons at Norton Park. Lost the first match of last season, which was Dougie Lawton's first game in charge, by something like 14 points to 12 or 12 points to 10. And it's a big night for Steve Pilgrim. And that's booked a ball in and immediately finds Bobby Goulding. You never know, he'll want to run all night this evening. Widnes found the Leeds pack easy to defeat on Saturday. And I think they might come in for a bit of a stiffer test this evening. So McCurry. And Holiday there, just Richie Ayres. What a strong runner Richie Ayres is. That's good running from Widnes. Harvey Howard not really expecting that ball. Bursting throw, and that's the way to run. Add a line of forwards. Great player, Harvey Howard. And Gregory just... Golding still managing to get the kick in there. That's good play from Golding. Fallon allowing that ball to go dead. A good set of six there, Gary.
Yes, excellent play, and again Bobby Golding showing just how fired up he is again this evening. Managed to hand off Elodie Hanley, which is no mean feat, and managed to produce an excellent kick. Bounced in touch about 5 metres out. That will be a 10-metre scrum with Leeds to feed. Andy Gregory with the ball. Just waiting for Mr. Smith to sort out the pack. The ball just bobbles in, picked up, and Gregory manages to get the ball away from the scrum. Jim Fallon comes in. Had a good hard-working game, I thought, Jim Fallon on Saturday, Stuart.
Yes, a bit of an unsung hero as far as Leeds are concerned. Jim Fallon is very strong. In fact, we wouldn't have been in the semi-final against Widnes if it had not been for his 2 tries against Castleford, which, to be fair, no other player on the Leeds staff would have scored in that position. So Leeds have got a penalty there, in which Steve Pilgrim kicks up towards our commentary position. Oh, that's good running from Steve Malloy. Hard running there, and Bobby Golding calling the plays. He knows how Leeds run, and that's good running again from Dixon. So the forwards testing each other out in these early stages. And young Lee Ireland gets his first run. Good reception committee there. Half the Widnes pack bringing him down. Quick play the ball from Leeds. Gary Mercer. That's a long ball out to Simon Irving. Irving taken on their own. Well brought down and pushed in a touch. Well, the forwards testing themselves out in these early stages, Gary.
Yes, it's going to be another forward battle, I think, as we saw on Saturday in the first half. The 2 sets of forwards battling head-to-head. As it was, Widnes managed to come out on top on that occasion. It's by no means a foregone conclusion. As the ball goes out to Stuart Spruce. Tackled well initially by Craig Innes. Hanley made the completion. John Devlow way in off that wing. Manages to slip the ball out. It bounces away. And yes, that's a knock on the crowd. Don't like that decision, but it actually bounced over Stuart Spruce's head and then bounced forward towards the opposition line, and that technically is a knock-on. Almost a good piece of play by John Devlow. The final pass just a bit too high, but he does like to come in off the wings and get involved midfield. And again, it's Leeds to feed. Gregory gets the ball out to Hanley. Hanley dummies, and Pilgrim drops that ball. He'll be looking to make a bit of a name for himself tonight. But again, Leeds suffered from that on Saturday. Hanley, I think, dropped about 3 passes, one of which led to Jonathan Davis's first try. Golding gets the ball in, and again Myers comes in off the wing this time. The Widnes wingers love to come in field and take the ball in. Steve McCurry switches, comes this way to David Hume. Myers scored 2 excellent tries on Saturday. The second one especially a superb individual effort. And now Widnes move the ball out. There's perhaps space on the outside. Stuart Spruce comes into the line. Spruce gets the good ball out to Devlow. Devlow tackled well. It just is enough to put John Devlow down. No support there. And a bomb. Well, Widnes scored off one of those on Saturday. Pilgrim drops the ball, picked up. But a penalty given for, well, I'm not sure if that was interference or offside. Tackle without the ball, I think.
Yes, it could have been there if Steve Pilgrim was being pushed back as the ball came towards him. But if that was for offside, then that was a very dodgy decision, because I thought the players were well onside. Golding puts the ball so high, Gary, that players have all the time in the world to get to the man. He's really a master kicker, he's Bobby Golding. So Steve Pilgrim then will kick for touch for Leeds. The ball bounces up towards us. Steve Malloy. And another penalty there to Leeds. That's their third in quick succession. Oh. So again, Pilgrim has a chance to put Leeds on attack inside the Widnes half of the field, and that's a good kick. That finds touch 10 metres inside the Widnes half. So Golden again, policing operations. He'll be telling Widnes who will be controlling the game here. And the Leeds set plays Lee Harland, and will battle for 80 minutes. Lee Harland, only 18 years old, just out of the academy. Gregory looking, running around there. That's a good ball for Simon Irving. And Irving makes good ground there. That's good running for the winger. Mercer acting half. Finds Hanley, and Hanley's running there and looks to go himself, Ellery Hanley. It's already more purpose shown by Leeds than they did in those early stages on Saturday. We're up to the last tackle. Leeds just had a first look at the Widnes 20 in possession. Andy Gregory offloading. James Lowes will put up the bomb. It's going far away, and Stuart Spruce is underneath, and he's knocked on there. Oh, risky moments there, Gary.
Yes, not the best of efforts by Stuart Spruce, and it's quite a difficult wind. It seems to be swirling the ball. It's really swirling as it went above the height of the flag at the back of the clock end down there at Widnes. And Stuart Spruce just couldn't hold it. Alan Tate looked dangerous with the ball in his hands. Alan Tate, in spite of that mistake which led to Widnes's second try, the first one of the second half. So Leeds attack Maskell at the half-back, and a good break by Steve Malloy. Gets the ball out. Good cover tackling by Widnes. Andy Gregory's to the left of Maskell. He brings the ball back to the short side, or to the open side as it is. Paul Dixon. Hanley not the best of play the balls. Penalty given, and there's some sort of altercation going on there between two players. Couldn't quite make out who that was. I think one of them was Ellery Hanley. Wasn't the best of play the balls, that, Stuart, but I think Leeds have been awarded a penalty.
Yes, Leeds awarded a penalty there. I don't know what went on. It was a very scrappy play, the ball. I think Leeds claiming that they were being interfered with, and very unusual to see Ellery Hanley retaliate like that, Gary. Something untoward must have gone in there. And the penalty, first penalty of the game, then he's kickable penalty, should I say, is towards Leeds, unless Mr. Russell Smith, of course, changes his mind. Not unknown for referees to change their mind. Penalties for Leeds. So Simon Irving, the regular Leeds kicker. I thought Steve Pilgrim may have had a kick at goal this evening, but Simon Irving, the regular kicker, chance to put Leeds in front. And Bobby Golding just doing the old Palzac there and bringing the ball for Simon Irving. I was talking to Bobby on Saturday after the game. He was absolutely delighted, but he did spare a thought for the Leeds fans who treated him so well, and the Leeds players who he got on really well with. But as he said to me, I'm a Widnes player now, but I still feel in my heart for Leeds. And that's about as much as you can say for a player who certainly gave 100% on the field throughout his 1 year at Leeds. Won both the Players' Player of the Year and the Supporters' Club Player of the Year, and was absolutely delighted and in tears when he received the awards. So Simon Irving puts boot to ball. 12 minutes gone. Leeds in the lead by 2 points to 0. So Leeds will be happy with that start. They've certainly shown some enterprise. So Widnes then with Jonathan Davis. And those 2 goal kicks from Jonathan Davis from the touchline was certainly killers as far as Leeds were concerned. On Saturday, great player. Oh, that's good running again there from Tate. Just linking up well with Gary Mercer and well knocked down there by Bobby Golding. Craig Innes. Leeds, of course, still without Kevin Iro. Massive presence in the centre-backs. James Laws, and good hit on James Laws, but it'll take more than Andy Carrier to knock James Laws to the floor. Steve Malloy. James Laws again. Leeds making progress now, just 10 metres inside their own half of the field. And the Leeds spread out now. Andy Gregory, will he put the kick in? Will he run the ball? Let's put Lee Arland through a gap there, and Arland, that'll be the turnover. That'll be Widnes in possession. So Leeds struggling to make any impact in that set of 6, Gary.
Yes, they couldn't break the Widnes line. Some good Widnes tackling. Not allowing Widnes to play the ball. I don't think he realised it was the final tackle. And another penalty for Widnes. Offside. I wondered if Davis might go for goal, but he decides to kick for touch. Widnes 12 metres out. McCurry, Paul Hume drives in like a prop. David Hume, a great ball. That was an excellent run by Les Holiday, came flying onto that ball. The ball knocked backwards. It's, Mr. Smith says it was a bit dubious that, I've got to be fair, but to me as it went forwards. Bobby Golding, but that mistake by David Hume just letting Leeds off the hook. Harvey Howard, what a great game he had on Saturday. He looks outside, well, the 2 props combining well on the wing position there, playing like centre and winger together, Howard and Hume. Golding misses out hers. Davis puts a flat kick in. Fallon makes a meal of that, and David Myers has scored again in the corner. Would you believe it? 3 tries against Leeds now for David Myers in 2 games. Good play by Myers. It looked as if Jim Fallon had it covered. He certainly should have done, but it wasn't a bad kick by Davis. It bobbled everywhere, and all credit to David Myers, because he never stopped chasing, even though it looks as if Fallon would have had it covered. And luckily for him, the bounce favoured him, and he goes in at the corner. But a bad mistake by Fallon.
I'm sure Leeds will be fairly happy with the start they've made there. They'd held up all that Widnes could throw at them near the line until that little kick from Jonathan Davis, which was well covered. So again then, Andy Gregory with the kick off this time. Stuart Spruce in position for Widnes. McCurry stepping his way there. Dixon just bringing him down by the legs. Cheers. Alan Tate wraps him up, much to the annoyance of the crowd. Hume just having a run there at Ellery Hanley. Off the ball. Offside against Leeds. So again, Leeds putting themselves under pressure there with that penalty. Quickly taken by Carrier. Still spinning out of tackles, Devereux. Widnes playing some 90-mile-an-hour football at the moment. And that's a good tackle on Hume by Simon Irving. Golding running across. Looks for runners. But she is. And Leeds defence finally getting him, and Myers over on this side calling for the ball. Golding, will he put the kick in again? It's a long ball. Stuart Spruce in the line. Goes himself there and well brought down. So Widnes right on the tack now, 10 metres from that Leeds line. Another try now would certainly be a killer as far as Leeds were concerned. Devereux up to the last tackle, so Steve Pilgrim can Expect the high ball from Bobby Golding. That's kicked across field, and Simon Irving it is, stepping inside. Good play from Irving. That's really good play from Simon Irving. Good set of 6 again from Widnes there.
Yes, excellent set of attacking, set up by that great burst Mers into a gap there, and well, David Myers was out there again shouting for the kick. Jim Fallon just seems to be lying well in field of Myers, and doesn't really seem to have learnt his lesson. But I also thought that was a dangerous kick by Bobby Golding, because it went right to the far wing for Simon Irving, and the only Widnes player over there was I think Les Holiday. So if Irving could have got to that, he could have had a straight run down the wing. But as it is, Leeds on the attack, pushing forward. I was just about to say a better spell of 6. Not the best of passes, but Hanley comes away in possession. Darren Wright, a great tackle by Darren Wright. Ellery Hanley was looking for Fulham on the inside, but Darren Wright, well, he's tackled superbly this year. He's always been an unsung hero for Widnes, not as far as the team are concerned, or even the spectators, but as far as the media and that type of thing. He doesn't make many headlines, but he's a fantastic player, and his tackling and attack have been superb since Christmas especially. And there he is now, behind the play of the ball, looks to make some space, gets the ball out to Stuart Spruce. Spruce slips. The pitch is quite firm down there, a little bit soily, dusty on top, almost sandy. As again looks for the gap. So gets the ball out, Darren Wright can't get the ball away. It's a bit like a summer pitch actually, with the hardness down there, which is amazing really when you think that not too long ago we were playing in a blizzard of snow. But again, Widnes making good headway in this set of 6 tackles. Bobby Golding again puts an enormous towering kick in. Excellent catch though by Pilgrim. Steve Pilgrim did well to get underneath that one. Jim Fallon comes in off the wing, breaks the first tackle. Steve McCurry couldn't complete that one. And Leeds are making good ground on this set of 6 tackles. Just 12 metres out from the halfway line. Good ball out by Steve Malloy. Gregory, long ball out to Hanley. Irving, that's a good long ball out to Jim Fallon. Now Fallon against Myers. David Myers holds him up, tackles well, and as Darren Wright gets in there to assist. The final tackle for Leeds. Alan Tate. And that's a fortunate bounce, a good kick and a kind bounce. Puts the ball in touch, but a better set of 6 tackles that time for Leeds, Stuart.
Yes, made good progress, particularly in the first 2. And well carried on there by Hanley. And good balls out there, and Mercer making good progress, and Leeds have now put Widnes down there, and Widnes in possession from that scrum. Myers coming in, but not escaping the clutches of Hanley. Darren Wright, Courier, Nevado, wrapped up there and brought down by Simon Irving. He's lost the ball. So this gives Leeds a chance to attack now, deep in Widnes territory, just on the 20-metre line. There's 24 minutes gone. Leeds trailing here by 4 points to 2. A good opening start by them, certainly showing more enterprise than in the Regal Trophy, in the Silk Cup Challenge Cup semi-final. Widnes getting that lucky try as the ball lost over the line. So out to Leeds. Andy Gregory finds Hanley, run around there with Tate. Tate goes on his own, and if he gets through half a break, Alan Tate is away. Tremendous pace from the Scotsman. Again, Leeds using the short side now with James Lowes. And bumping his way through. Hanley again. It's Leeds move, Gregory. Did well there, Andy Gregory. Long passes stopped by Simon Irving. Irving stepping, trying to go back inside. Oh, that's good play from Irving. And again, in his now, Leeds opening out now. Just will go himself there. Alan Tate and Fallon there, not really in a position to receive that ball as he was 2 yards in touch. Fallon straightening up, going for the lines. Going Fallon, that's deep in now in the Widnes 10-metre area. Leeds pressing strongly. Andy Gregory will control things at first receiver. A long passage out there for Dixon. Dixon finds Laws, and Laws immediately back into the same ruck of tackles, and Leeds now up with the last tackle. So Hanley acting half. What's he going to do? He goes himself, puts the chip for the corner in there, and Widnes having Stuart Spruce having to knock that ball dead. So enterprising attack from Leeds, and will result in a Widnes dropout. So Leeds will have possession again. And the fans have come over the Pennines in fair numbers tonight, Leeds, after the Saturday performance. And a nice gesture from Mr. Alf Davis. And anyone who booked a seat on the coach this evening came over at the expense of the Leeds club. So Fallon then eventually picks the ball up. Running across the field, straightening up now into Harvey Howard. And on a windy Wednesday evening in Widnes, there's nobody who would rather not run into than Harvey Howard. Haaland straightening, goes himself. It's good running there from the youngster. And that's got to be a penalty there to Leeds, interfering at the play of the ball. The Widnes crowd not happy with that, Gary.
Yes, I think the crowd would argue that the referee didn't give him time to get up off the play of the ball, but the penalty nevertheless, and a good spell of attacking by Leeds. It seems to me that Andy Gregory is a little bit more involved than he was on Saturday. He's putting out some lovely long balls, and that's giving the Leeds attack a bit of width, and it seems to be causing Widnes a couple of problems at times. Simon Irving takes that one down centre field. The ball switched back to the right-hand side for Steve Malloy. Driving towards the sticks, it's Colin Maskill again at half-back. And again, the same move, this time it's swung back low to the left. Gregory dodges back towards the sticks. Hanley, Craig Innes, the ball needed to come out this way. James Lowe, another hard worker on Saturday. Many Leeds players didn't get the credit they deserved. Not a good team performance, but some workman-like performances. Ellery Hanley is playing a lot better tonight, much more involved at the standoff position, and it's making Leeds look dangerous. That's not the best of balls though. Picked up well by Lee Haaland. Gregory again comes onto that one. He's looking for his winger, but again the pass just not quite good enough. So a turnover, that was the final tackle. But I think that's two sets of 6 tackles matches anything that Leeds produced on Saturday. Certainly look a lot more alive tonight. I'm sure Dougie Lawton's given them a good talking to over the weekend. They've obviously worked hard to put right the mistakes they made. Looking to get the ball out, just holding it in one hand. Jonathan Davis steaming up, just couldn't get there in time. Golding decides he's had enough of this, being in his own half. Kicks down towards the Leeds half, 30 metres out. Four points to 2, and really the first half in many respects not too dissimilar to the one we saw on Saturday.
That's right, very close encounter so far, just the 2 points in it. And Leeds a much better, more enterprising performance than on Saturday, and Jim Fallon just coming in field and looking for work. That's good running now. Alan Tate puts a kick in and will chase that himself there, but it's got Stuart Spruce to beat. Stuart Spruce wrapped up, so Leeds quite happy to surrender the possession there early in the tackle count, looking for this try. Devereux will come across now. And a good tackle from Fallon there. Head to head. Fallon going again after Myers. Myers jinking and dodging and puts his head down. And Lee Arland took a knock there in that tackle. Courier. Rose. Still running Stuart Spruce, and a good tackle there eventually. From James Lowes, and Bobby Goulding now finds Ayres, and Ayres runs strong and hard, and Pilgrim's missed home, and that's going to be a try for Widnes again. Not given a try there, he's given a forward pass. Well, Mr. Smith won't be the most popular person here tonight, Gary.
Well, no, I don't think many people spotted Mr. Smith. He signalled it as soon as the pass was given, but it's got to be very dubious. 50-50 at the best. It was a flat, maybe. But, well, my initial reaction was that it was not a forward pass. Mr. Smith gave it immediately. It was a tremendous break again by Ayres. He's playing like a man possessed tonight. But Widnes denied of a score. We saw a lot of that on Saturday, Stuart. Referees giving forward passes. Sometimes they were, sometimes they weren't. It's a knock-on. Well, the play just goes on. David Myers looks to go past Fallon. He jinks. He's beat Fallon. He's still pushing forward. Great play by Myers. He just jinked past Fallon then. Somehow, Widnes maintain the momentum. Davis. Les Holiday inside. McCurry, he goes himself, and Steve McCurry's in. Well, that's the second time in 2 weeks, 3 weeks that Steve McCurry has done that. He did it earlier on in this season, I think, against Wakefield, just from the half-back, a little dummy. It just sent about 4 Leeds players just looked to the left and began to shuffle across to the left, and McCurry just put his head down and powered over the line. So, a good score for Widnes, but a bad one for Leeds to concede.
Yes, Steve McCurry, he did that headingly. Just went over from acting half-back there, and Leeds have been caught a lot this season at acting half-back. And they'll be disappointed that Leeds, they had the scrum there, and Widnes would say that was fair justice for the close decision on the forward pass, but Andy Gregory not able to pick the ball up. This pack wheeling round as Andy Gregory was getting the ball out. Widnes moving it out, and again within the 6 tackles they were over. So if Davis puts this, Leeds have a mountain to climb at 10 points to 2. And Widnes have been down this end 2 or 3 times and put over 2 tries, and Davis doesn't usually miss these. And he doesn't this time, so that's 10 points to 2. And could Widnes be on the way? Well, if Leeds win this evening, they'll be 3rd in the league. Try and pull something out of the bag this evening. A stern test of character now for the Liners. Pilgrims kick off. Finds Stuart Spruce. And again, Widnes not dropping many balls this evening. Making progress all the time. They're on a high after Saturday's game. Richie Ayres in a great game this evening, Ayres. Howard. That's Paul Young, difficult to tell with the helmet on. Both these props playing in scrum caps this evening. Goulding finds David Young. Courier. There's again there, and Simon Irving having to come in off the wing to wrap him up. Up to the last tackle now. What will Goulding know this time? Oyster bomb again. Knock on, that's a 6 tackle, that'll be the turnover. So certainly Bobby Goulding testing Leeds with the high kicks, Gary.
Yes, he's perhaps attempting to emulate what he did on Saturday, and he's certainly got a high kick on him. It certainly hangs in the air for ages, and on that occasion Devon Wright was the first man there. Mr. Smith waved all the Widnes players on side, but the Widnes centre just unable to hold on to it. So just about 6 or 7 minutes left in this first half. 10 points to 2 for Widnes. I think 1 or 2 Widnes people that I've spoken to this week expected to see, well, not exactly an A team out tonight, but maybe a few new faces. But you've got to remember, as Goulding takes the ball in, still going strong. He's lost it now. And the penalty for the high tackle. You've got to remember that Widnes have got Sealy for Milo, who's predicted to be fit again soon, and also it's thought that Paul Moriarty will be available for Wembley, before Wembley in fact, so really there's tremendous competition for places in the Widnes team. When you look at the pack they've got out there, it's a full strength pack, and you've got Moriarty and Firmino looking to get back into it as well, so I think everybody out there, the forwards and the backs, definitely playing for a place at Wembley. They've all waited so long to get there, and unfortunately somebody who deserves to be there by all accounts is going to miss out, because Widnes have got about 20 players who could play at Wembley. Kurt Sorensen of course isn't playing tonight either. Jonathan Davis fancying his chances. Just short of 40 metres mark. Looks good. It is good. Excellent kick by Jonathan Davis. And Davis certainly back to full fitness and back to full form, and his confidence in all manners of the game has come back, and that is showing in his kicking. It's back to its brilliant best. 12 points to 2 for Widnes. So Steve Pilgrim again kicks off, and again there's battles over the 20-metre line. Bad ball by McCurry though, over the shoulder of Andy Courier. Gives Craig Innes a chance to take possession again for Leeds. Maskell goes himself at half back, a good break by Colin Maskell. Greg Lee's got Hanley outside him, he takes the ball in himself, looking for support on the left, but nothing comes. Leeds have got to open it out this way now, and they do so. Steve Malloy. Maskell again with Ellery Hanley. Now what can Hanley do here? Gets the ball out to Dixon. Dixon powers for the line, just tackled short. The chip by Hanley, the short kick through, doesn't quite come off. It nearly did, but a knock-on given against Widnes, so another chance for Leeds with 6 more tackles to come. 10-metre scrum.
Leeds giving it a head and ball at the 10-metre scrum. Widnes knocking on there. The judge should have knocked on, and the crowd not happy with that, but certainly no Leeds player knocked on there, because no Leeds player was anywhere near the ball with his hands. Andy Gregory then winning the 6th Leeds scrum on the hair, and that's, in fact, he's lost that scrum against the head to Bobby Golding. So Widnes in possession, and Leeds will look like going in by this margin at least at half-time now. Not much more chance to for Leeds to get the ball, and the Courier there. A good tackle from Simon Irving. And another penalty awarded against Leeds. Well, they're giving the penalties away thick and fast so far this evening. That's the 4th. Each side conceded 4 penalties. Interesting to note that the referee for this evening, Mr. Russell Smith, was the best man at Colin Maskell's wedding. And I'm sure that won't cloud his judgment at all. It certainly hasn't done so far. So Widnes again in possession and ploughing up that field. And pushed in a touch, so this game ready to boil over at any moment now. Leeds will bring Paul Anderson on. Or Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy not going off. Well, difficult to see what's going on here. It's obviously going to be a scrum, and Well, I don't want him to come off at this late stage, but Andy Gregory will feed the scrum, so gets the ball out this time. Hanley and Widnes up quickly and chasing. And Hanley's well wrapped up there by David Hume and Jonathan Davis. Gary Mercer. Holiday wrapping him up, bringing him down. Anderson now. Anderson was the one man who ran hard and straight like a Widnes forward on Saturday. Rickety again, Hanley. Misses Hanley out. Hanley goes on a dummy run. Dixon. Dixon straightening up and pin men off, and must be almost time for the hooter. Stepping through James Lowes up to the 20-metre mark. We're up to the last tackle. Well, Leeds would like a score now just before half-time. Which would be fair reward because they played well this half, Leeds. Throws wrapped up and brought down. And in possession. On tape, brings Myers down as Leeds will struggle. Or will try, should have said, to keep Widnes down in this area. Widnes will struggle to get out of this 20-metre area, so close to half-time, and Leeds can't afford to buy any dummies. Paul Hume. So time up on my watch. 40 minutes gone. Harvey Howard runs it straight at Ellery Hanley, who brings him down there. Pilgrim taking that ball on the full. Struggling to get through there, David Hume, and Hume just hanging on and just delaying things in that normal style of David Hume. James Lowes. So Leeds will look for Paul Dixon to run with purpose, and James Lowes picks up, looks for the gap. So Leeds 4 tackles and just outside of the Widnes 20-metre area. Grant, Henley and Gregory look for a run round there. That's a good ball, but it's put down. And a knock on. Is he judge? So Leeds, try as they might, they can't break through this Widnes defence, Gary.
Yes, they've been a lot more enterprising tonight, but the final pass still not just coming off, and the Widnes defence is tackling superbly again. But Leeds just a little bit too much lost possession. Offside given. Paul Dixon was out the scrum there almost before the ball, just kicked it away from Bobby Golding. And according to my watch, we've had 2 minutes overtime tonight. Perhaps a final attack for Widnes. Well tackled by Anderson. David Hume still going forward. McCurry dummies, gets the ball to Ayres, coming up onto the spot where the play the ball had taken place. McCurry again takes the ball himself. 10 metres out now, Widnes. Howard, Andy Currier kicks, bounces, it bounces again. Well, it just bounced away from Andy Currier. I think Currier claiming for the first knock on. The ball kicked back at the play of the ball. Tap out on the 20-metre line. And the quick tap. Leeds were a bit slow taking those 20-metre taps on Saturday. There is the half-time hooter. So still a close game. Widnes 10 points ahead after Leeds took an early lead by Irving's penalty. Myers scored a try for Widnes. McCurry added a second, converted by Davis, and the Davis penalty made it 12 points to 2 for Widnes at half-time.
Well, Jonathan Davis just about to get the second half underway. Leeds trailing nearby. There's 2 points to 12, courtesy of the 2 tries from McCurry and David Myers and the 2 Jonathan Davis goals. So Gary Mercer then will run hard and will try and get away from that 20-metre area, which is the danger zone as far as Leeds are concerned. Must score, and must score quickly in this half. Jim Fallon. Anderson now. Oh, and a good ball on Maskill. That's good football from Leeds. Maskill well in support there. Andy Gregory now finds Dixon. And Dixon still on his feet there and finally brought down by Paul Hume. Mercer. And that's a good running from Leeds so early in this second half. As he moves the ball now with Andy Gregory and he puts the kick, floats it over the top there. And that's not going to find touch, it's going to find Stuart Spruce. And Spruce straight into Simon Irvine and Craig Innes, and they wrapped him up well there. Neveró coming across. Wrapped up immediately, that's good tackling from Leeds. McCurry tries to go from match in half back. So Goulding finds Davis. Darren Wright now, Myers. And Hanley, that's a great cover tackle from Ellery Hanley. Goulding again, using, and put down there by Les Holiday. So Leeds have certainly had some chances on attack against Widnes here this evening. So far they've not been able to get over that elusive chalk. In possession now with Alan Tate. Alan Tate spots the gap, goes himself up, well wrapped up there. The penalties in the first half went 5-4 to Widnes, and the scrums 6-5 to Leeds. And again brought down there by Darren Wright. That's Gary Mercer. James Lowes. Strong running from Lowes, and the Leeds contingent at the back of the sticks cheering. And a penalty there awarded to Leeds. Well, Simon Irvine, I think, will come to have a kick at goal. Holding down in the tackle there, Gary.
Yes, again a quick decision by Mr. Smith, and Widnes give away a penalty, which he just has a word with the official. He's not happy about that, but it gives Simon Irvine a chance to make it 12 points to 4 and put Leeds just 8 points behind. It's definitely a kickable position for him. It's just about 16 metres out, just to the left of the sticks. 3 minutes into this second half. Irving with that short stride up to the ball. Slots that one over. 12 points to 4 to Widnes.
Well, Simon Irvine then with the kick. Puts Leeds just 8 points behind. 43 minutes gone, and Jonathan Davis brings that ball back to halfway to kick off. The Leeds have certainly come out purposeful again in the second half. It'll be interesting to see how Widnes reacted if Leeds could get a try and a goal and put them within 2 points. Davis then with the kick, long, high, spinning kick. Gary Mercer. And that's good tackling, but Mercer's up to the 20-metre area. James Lowes. Took the ball up like a prop forward this evening, James Lowes. Lee Harlan will come now on the burst. Anderson. Oh, and almost through there, Anderson. Good play there again from the youngster, Lowes. And James Lowes and Dixon now. Back now for Andy Gregory to put the kick in. That floats across, and will it beat everyone and go into touch? In fact, that's a good touch kick, and it finds touch on the 10-metre line, so Leeds made good progress from their kick-off there up in the set of 6, but the heading ball out of the scrum will go to Widnes. Here's Gary.
Yes, excellent kick by Bobby Golding, and it just landed long ways by Andy Gregory. It just landed long ways on and rolled into touch. And a good spell of attack by Leeds, as Stuart says. The Widnes tackling in the second half, not as strong as it was in the first half. A couple of weak tackles, missed tackles in evidence so far. But Widnes still 12 points to 4 ahead and in possession at the moment. Steve McCurry. Paul Hume takes that one in. He's having a good game tonight. And yes, the touch had to come on there. Gary Mercer was all over Paul Hume's face with his forearm and his elbow. It's the ball into touch, 10 metres short of the halfway line. And Paul Hume showing that he's not going to be deterred by that. Comes first man in for the ball. Golding, a good ball to Holiday. Good tackling though by Leeds, an excellent tackle by Andy Gregory, assisted by Gary Mercer. Jonathan Davis looks for a gap in the field in the Leeds line, but he can't find one. Really not the play that should have taken place there. There was no gap there. Jonathan Davis was never going to make any headway, and Andy Courier can't do much about that either. Holiday and McCurry looks to get the ball out. He just can't offload it, and it's the final tackle for Widnes. A good spell of defence by Leeds. Golding kicks for touch, and another good kick goes into touch, 10 metres out. And there really isn't much between the teams at the moment, Stuart.
No, it's been a closer game than the score suggests, actually. And Leeds, just a couple of mistakes have cost the tries, and Leeds have played well in the second half. Fallon again coming in field and still making progress until he's finally brought down, and Myers laying all over him there. And oh, nice tackle on Gary Mercer, and Mercer spins out of it there and brought down. That's a good tackle from I think Darren Wright. Anderson, he's run strong and hard since he came on just before half time. Gregory, Dixon, and rocked back in the tackle there and picked up off his feet. That's great tackling from Hume. Gregory again puts a kick in. This time it's for Stuart. Spruce collects on the phone. Hanley's up quickly there, and Spruce running across field. He's got the winger with him. A tackle from Tate. And again Tate on Myers. Two tackles in quick succession there from Alan Tate. Devereaux's in the middle of the field. He's looking for the gap now, and Dixon bringing him down. 3 Leeds players there in at that tackle. Lace Holiday. Rock back there, Dixon. The penalty there, saying that a fist was used in the tackle. So Widnes certainly gaining the penalty counts at the beginning of this second half, and Leeds will pay dearly with the position in the field for that. We'll have 6 more tackles to go, having weathered the storm from the Andy Gregory kick. It's McCurry to finds Howard. And he's run again. He's been very impressed with Harvey Howard in the last couple of games. Lost his head a bit at the league game at Headingley early on in the season, but certainly made up for it in these last couple of games. And it's good tackling again from Leeds. And Widnes will spin the ball out this way. Switching play there with Golding. That's clever play. And the ball's gone to ground. And touch judge complaining about something again there. And that's going to be a penalty against Leeds again. It certainly looked okay from up this end of the field, but touch judge a lot nearer than what we are. Well, he's disappointed they've come out fired up here and seemingly can't make a tackle without incurring the wrath of the referee or the touch judge or both. And that certainly wasn't meant a high tackle, the ball just spinning out of Richie Hayes' arms. No penalty there, didn't look too bad, didn't that, Gary?
No, it's difficult to say for me. It certainly wasn't the best of balls to us, and he was tackled as soon as ever he took the ball. But the touch judge just judging it was a high tackle, and really there have been perhaps not vicious tackles, but a bit of interference around the face on players, and I think Mr. Smith just intending to get a grip on the game before anything nasty spills over, and he was sending the Leeds players back there, telling them to get back 10 metres, and I think Dixon said something to him. That's bad discipline by Leeds. And Mr. Smith just showing who's boss. And I think, to be fair to the officials, they've got to keep tight control on this game, because we all know it's a game that could explode if any leftovers from Saturday spilled over into unwanted aggression. And I think, to be fair to the officials, they're just trying to show who's the boss. And that penalty given away for talking back. So Davis again 20 metres out, 11 metres in from that far touchline. It's on his good side. Steadying himself, just short 4 steps. Strikes it well, but it goes to the left of the posts. So it's still 12 points to 4 for Widnes. A dropout on the 20-metre line. But certainly Leeds playing with fire and urgency this afternoon that seems to disappear when they went 8 or 10 points behind on Saturday. That urgency wasn't there. It is this afternoon, or this evening I should say. And Widnes not finding it quite so easy at the moment. The crowd again incensed by something they think they've seen. David Hume steps up again and drives towards the halfway line. Not sure if that's Paul Hume or Harvey Howard, but Harvey Howard it was in fact. I think the two props both wearing protective headgear. Davis, dummies, and then the long ball. That's what Courier was shouting for. Devlow, can he come inside? He does come inside. He's got Stuart Spruce on his shoulder. He can go for the line. Is John Devlow going to make it? No, he's not. Devlow just put his head down and went for the line after looking inside and seeing that Stuart Spruce was covered. But the cover had a chance to get there. Holiday. David Hume just can't take it cleanly. And he slips the ball out somehow. A dangerous pass perhaps, but it keeps the momentum going. One pass too many though. It comes backwards off a Leeds player. Stuart Spruce, I think, just throwing out the final unwanted pass. John Devlow almost in at the corner. I think perhaps slowed his momentum as he looked inside for Stuart Spruce, and Spruce was covered well by the Leeds defence. So Leeds weather the storm and come back in possession. Gregory working hard this evening. Another flat ball. The final tackle for Leeds. The ball again back to Gregory. And Gregory off the ball there, just caught David Hume with a kick on the shin. Nobody spotted that one.
Incurring the wrath there, Andy Gregory. Just having a quiet word with David Hume and a smile. And sometimes the crowd get far more incensed with these things than the players. Ireland in there, great tackle from the youngster. Devereaux not liking that at all. Widnes coming away now with Golding Spruce. Fallon up quick. Well, again. Oh, something happening there, and this game always threatens to boil over. And spilling over towards the dugouts. Well, we've got a cameraman from Yorkshire TV at the side of me. This will make good viewing on calendar. Difficult to see there what happened in the tackle. Did you see what happened there, Gary?
I think it was after Stuart Spruce played the ball. I couldn't see which of the players it was, but David Myers reacted immediately to help out Stuart Spruce, although Myers kept hold of the ball. Not condonable to throw punches, but sensible play by Myers not to throw the ball away, because at that point the ball was still in play. But there have been one or two incidents in the tackle which the touch judges haven't spotted. The crowd have spotted them. Both the Widnes and Leeds wingers have had words with the touch judge on this near side to ask him if he didn't spot what was going on. And really the linesmen have got to be on the best tonight, be on guard and keep a good eye out, because it would be sad if this game degenerated into anything and a yellow card is being shown to James Lowes. The linesman from this side went over there. It was James Lowes who earlier on this side hit a Widnes player in the tackle, and John Devereux just asked this linesman if he didn't see it. I don't know if that's why he's gone. Well, Stuart Spruce also sin-binned for 10 minutes. And Widnes just rearranging the players. Jonathan Davis is going to go to full-back for Stuart Spruce, and David Hume goes to stand-off. Well, the crowd are getting incensed as much as the players now, and I just don't hope that the players don't overreact to this situation. Courier steps away again, can't find the gap. Bobby Golding, the long ball out. Devereux, he's got Davis on his outside. If Davis can get there, Devereux just couldn't get the ball out. And the penalty to Widnes. John Devereux looking to get up for the quick play of the ball, being held down. And Davis just kicks the ball into touch, gives Widnes some space to run at that Leeds line. Paul Hume spins in the tackle. Or was it Harvey Howard? It was Harvey Howard. Harvey Howard playing number 8 today, that's why I'm getting confused. He normally comes on at number 10. Courier, Davis, dummies, steps inside, ducks under the tackle, fortunately for him. Push towards touch. And another high tackle. Well, I think that was Dixon or Mercer on Darren Wright, the Widnes player. Mr. Smith calls Ellery Hanley over. And he's just having a word with the Leeds captain. About these tackles. And really, it's difficult to see what Leeds have got to gain by this. Midway through the half, they're just 8 points behind. It's another penalty. This is bad discipline by Leeds. They really came out firing on all cylinders. They had some momentum going at the start of this second half, and really Leeds have lost that by giving away penalty after penalty when it looked as if they had a chance of coming back into the game. So a chance for Jonathan Davis to put Widnes 10 points clear again. And there's some activity over towards the Widnes bench. Paul Hume's contact lens has come out, we're told, up here. Jonathan Davis looks to put Widnes further ahead. 14 points to 4 now for Widnes. Paul Hume is back in play. Leeds are taking off Anderson, and I think Steve Malloy is coming back on. So Andy Gregory to kick off for Leeds. Ball sits up nicely for Davis. As Holiday charges in, and again Widnes break that 20-metre line. Steve McCurry fights to make some ground, makes 10 metres. Paul Hume, Bobby Golding, Harvey Howard goes at Ellery Hanley and pushes Hanley back. Stopped 10 metres short of the halfway line. David Hume to Ayres. No gaps out there. Paul Hume. The final tackle for Widnes. The ball back to Golding. He steps inside. Manages to get the kick in as Maskell took the dummy. Simon Irving knocks off Courier, makes some more ground, tackled eventually by David Hume and Les Holiday. And the game, Stuart, just settles down a bit.
Yes, temperature's rather raised there in that first last 10 minutes or so. Malloy finds Gregory out of the tackle. Gregory eventually brought down by his older partner at Wigan, Andy. Bobby Golding, Hanley again, straightening up now. Well, Russell Smith has certainly penalised Leeds. He doesn't look to be so keen on the other way around at the moment. Long balls out there for Steve Pilgrim. Simon Irving. Irving steps inside, that's a high tackle. Just a swinging arm there, the referee allowing play to go on, and still lots of interference at the play of the ball. Wouldn't mind referees penalising players if they were consistent. That's out to Alan Tate. Fallon now, can he get in at the corner, Fallon? And that's Hanley, and Hanley's in for a try, and Hanley will come over underneath the post. That's good play from Leeds. So Leeds hitting back with a try. Following the up and under, and it's that man Ellery Hanley to score the try. 67 minutes gone then. Leeds hitting back straight away with the try. just within 6 points now of Widnes, and we'll see whether that fires Widnes or Leeds up. Leeds now know that they've found a way through the Widnes ranks. So Davis kicks off again, spinning ball. Andy Gregory finds Dixon. Interesting to see how well Russell Smith polices the play the ball area at the moment. Gregory, and the ball moves out. Hanley now with Alan Tate stepping, trying to go in the gap there. And Currier just laying on there at the play of the ball. Steve Malloy now. Leeds almost up to halfway. Hanley changes direction, goes himself there, but very strong Ellery Hanley. First time in the Leeds number 6 jersey this evening for Ellery Hanley. James Lowes is back on the field, and the kick spins down for Stuart Spruce. Also back on the field, and Spruce picks it up and runs back there with from purpose. That's good running and good tackling from Leeds, bringing him down. Holiday, and Fallon in off his wing there, wraps up Les Holiday. McCurry spots the gap for Max in half, and what a clever player he is. That's probably a yard of pace. Currier. It's out for Darren Wright. Wright's going, and Hanley wrapping him up. And again, good play from Widnes there, just on Currier's shoulder. Currier again in the middle of the field. Looks for the gap. Long ball's bouncing out there. Myers picks up, dodges, jinks. Brought down, we're up to the last tackle. And back for Golding, puts the kick in. Steve Pilgrim it is, who picks the ball up from behind his own line. And makes good progress back. Lowes, Gregory looks for Fallon. Fallon just got into his stride there as Richie Ace comes in and completes the tackle. Dixon again. Oh, and Dixon's put the ball down there, and Hanley's back in possession for Leeds. The long ball's out for Simon Irving. Irving steps inside Devereux.
Well, a penalty to Widnes. I must admit I was distracted there. I didn't see what that was for. Harvey Howard drives in. Jonathan Davis took a knock earlier when he went to pick that ball up. Hanley just caught him on the shoulder. But he seems to be okay now, back in the line. Not the best of passes, but Myers picks it up, fights to make some ground. There's a Widnes substitute warming up. I think Harvey Howard's number is being held up. And I also think the Leeds look to make a substitution as well. It's the final tackle for Widnes. The ball back to Golding. Looks for the drop goal. It looks good. Sweet. Hits a peach from Bobby Golding. Leeds need to score more than once. It's 15 points to 4. 2 substitutions to be made. Harvey Howard is coming off for Widnes. Lee Harland for Leeds. It's Chris Ashurst that comes on for Widnes. And Anderson is back on for Leeds. So Gregory kicks off. Eight minutes left in this match. Much closer contest than it was on Saturday, and I for one am glad, well, especially being a Widnesian, I couldn't have stood the tension of it being this close on Saturday. Just 7 points in it, it would have been unbearable. Widnes get the ball out well, and Darren Wright, I think, in the middle of that melee. Golding chips over the top, but good cover, but nearly good cover. Bobby Golding chips over the Leeds player on the floor, but no penalty. And a penalty now against Andy Courier, not allowing the Leeds player up to play the ball. Pilgrim, I think it was, on the floor. And a good kick deep, a chance for Leeds to mount an attack. A score now would really make it tight at the finish.
Yes, Leeds with Anderson now looking to break that first line of defence. Penalties, interestingly, 13-6 in Widnes' favour. And Russell Smith has penalised Leeds at every opportunity just to try and calm things down. Well, Leeds again now. James Laws finds Gregory. Knocked down, so that'll be a knock-on. It's going to be a scrum, well, that's probably the right thing to do as far as Widnes are concerned. And Courier throwing the ball away, that should be a penalty. Should be. With the ball many a mile there, Andy Courier. Out Hanley now looks for Innes. Oh, and Innes has put the ball down, and Jonathan Davis has picked it up. So nothing going right again this evening for Leeds. Chris Ashurst, substitute for and the penalised frustration there on Leeds' faces. They just can't get the ball and play with it this half. Mr. Smith has made quite sure that Leeds are not going to have the ball to play with. He's given penalty at every opportunity against the Liners this evening. And I think Mr. Smith is signing the old-fashioned rugby league, which is hard tackling. There's no truck in his version of the game. He likes touch and pass. Holding, step in there, put down. And again, scrappy game now. And Widnes well and truly on the way to winning this game. There's really no need to play that kind of football, Gary.
No, not really, and I'm sure that the experienced Widnes players know that the Widnes are 7 points clear. They don't need to score any more points. They don't need to do anything spectacular. Bobby Golding made a superb break there, but the final pass just spoilt it, and it gives possession to Leeds, and it gives Leeds a chance to mount an attack with 5 minutes left. I said on Saturday when Widnes got ahead, well, crossing it was unlucky. It was unlucky. The penalty also for arguing back. Craig Innes just did step behind Steve Pilgrim. He never actually completed the cross behind him, but Pilgrim was stood in front of him between the man with the ball and the prospective tacklers. And as I was saying, Widnes played some excellent football on Saturday when they got ahead, and it came off and they just went further and further ahead. But really, with 5 minutes to go, well, that always happens, doesn't it? when the commentator tells the team to do one thing, they do exactly the opposite and make him eat his words. John Devereux did it to me on Saturday. He's done it again. Devereux in at the corner. Widnes just slipping the ball out on this right wing after another penalty given away. Perhaps a lucky one, you might say, for crossing. It's debatable. But Devereux in at the corner. We know it's Phil a lot more difficult, Phil, than it was on Saturday.
Yeah, Leeds came here and they certainly played with a lot of determination. I thought they took it a little bit too far. I thought they looked like a beaten football team that were just trying to get their pride back. I don't think the referees helped matters much. I've never seen so many high tackles. I'd like to pay respect to my guys who've really kept their discipline under a lot of aggravation.
Thanks a lot, Phil, and looking forward now to a trip to Wembley.
I think we've got to forget Wembley. I'd like to get to the Premiership final, as I'm sure the fans would, and we've just got to get our mind back on the league competition. Wembley's at the end of the book, and we're only on chapter 2 at the moment.
Just a quick word about the two injuries, if I may, for Milo and Moriarty. What are the prospects of them coming back soon?
We've got our fingers crossed that Paul Moriarty will be able to get at least one match in before May 1st. Senny should be back much earlier.
Thanks a lot, Phil, and the best of luck in the continuing league programme. Obviously the aim is to finish as high as possible. That's a great break by Richards. The final tackle for Widnes as we come inside the final minute of this game. Courier puts a high one in. Pilgrim, that's a tester for the ex-Union player, but he takes it well. A superb catch by him. He's been under the spotlight tonight in a lot of controversy off the pitch for various reasons, or in fact for one reason. But he's put that out of his mind tonight and not had a bad game all in all. A final word perhaps from Stuart about the Leeds performance tonight.
It's been a much better performance, and again Russell Smith, another mistake there. The ball actually hit the referee there. That should be a scrum. He's allowed play to go on. I think Leeds have put up a much better fight this evening. The scoreline nowhere reflecting the quality of the game. Widnes have had a plethora of penalties in the second half for stupid things that Russell Smith, I'm sure, frightened to let the game flow for fear of what might happen. And forward pass there from Holiday. Some of the penalties that Russell Smith has penalised Leeds for this evening have been absolutely disgraceful. But taking it away from Widnes, they've got the tries on the board. Excellent try from Devereux, even if it did come from a penalty that was dubious to say the least. Man of the match, Harvey Howard.
Well, that's a great reward for Harvey Howard. That's offside. Widnes just coming unstuck there. David Hume gets the top tackle award. Another excellent performance by him at loose forward. He looks, he doesn't look out of place in any position, David Hume, but he certainly looks the part at loose forward. Harvey Howard, congratulations to him for the man of the match performance tonight. He really is a great prospect for Widnes, and dare I say it, for Great Britain as well. He's going to be a star of the future. Well, David Hume and Andy Gregory in a bit of a tussle there. Had many of those against each other. A good break by James Lowe. He's been one of the best players tonight for Leeds, as he was on Saturday, I thought. Put in a sterling performance, and the penalty now goes to Leeds. Again for holding down at the play of the ball. So we've had, according to my watch, over the minute of injury time. Leeds a final chance to spin the ball out. It's good play. Pilgrim brings in this into the line, gets the ball back to Pilgrim. Pilgrim steps away and chirps out of that tackle. A final chance. This could be the last set of tackles. Hanley dummies been a lot more involved tonight. Ellery Hanley, the ball back to Pilgrim. Holds the ball up, manages just to flick it inside to Simon Irving before he goes in touch. Leeds with a deep line out wide. Hanley, Hanley was outside Gregory. Gregory just popped the ball up into the gap as he thought, but Hanley had changed his mind and had gone to go for the outside of the Widnes marker. It looks bad when it doesn't come off, but if Hanley had stuck to his first choice, it may have gone through a gap. Just a misunderstanding between the two Leeds players. And Jonathan Davis takes his time to get the ball, playing at scrum half in the absence of Bobby Golding, who's gone off, limped off earlier, and Davis fed that like a true scrum half right into the second row's feet. You'd think he'd played there all his life. Darren Wright, well, that looked the same as the one that Leeds got the penalty for before, I've got to say, in fairness, and nothing was given. And there goes the final hooter. So Widnes beat Leeds for the second time in 4 days. A lot tougher contest that time. 12 points to 2 at half-time. Size for Widnes from Myers and McCurry. Just 2 goals from Davis and 1 from Simon Irving. And then the second half, Irving put Leeds closer with a penalty. Davis put Widnes further ahead, again 14 points to 4. Then Hanley put Leeds right back in the game to make it 14 points to 8 when he scored a try. Bobby Golding's drop goal put Widnes a safe distance away, and John Devereux completed the scoring to make it 19 points to 8. So Widnes third in the league and looking for the top 4 position for a good placing in the Premiership playoffs. The next game is at Lee. We'll hope for a similar performance. We'll see you then.